Hello. What is going on at the heart of government? I've had a chance to go through the press and media this morning, and I think it's fairly clear that Rishi Sunak is being manoeuvred into being the new PM. Penny Mordaunt really isn't in the contest, and thankfully neither is Boris Johnson. The dream ticket between Sunak and Johnson isn't there either. Please excuse my cat if you can hear it. He has been fed, he just likes to talk a lot. Like me, in fact. There's an interesting article on the Daily Mail. I know. But my philosophy on this is always like to know what people are doing, so I have to do a more holistic review of papers and things like that until my FT subscription is renewed again. But the article contains an infograph, which I'll put on the Substack. It's worth doing because it's funny. The Daily Mail have actually worked out how badly each Tory PM would do against Labour in a general election. Boris Johnson would only lose 26 seats. Rishi Sunak would lose 124. Penny Mordaunt 216. Ben Wallace 304. And the outgoing PM Liz Truss 320. So when you've got Tory-backed papers drawing up a chart on that kind of subject, you know, there's something rather wrong at the heart of government. However, it's Rishi Sunak, isn't it? I mean, we all know that. The markets want him. They want him to come in and stabilise things. Then there's all the potential tax cuts and all the money that he's going to have to re-grab from the mess that he created. Not including the furlough. Obviously, that saved a lot of businesses. Money well spent, I guess, because it kept people going and kept them bouncing off that baseline poverty line that we have in society. Problem is, though, couldn't foresee the energy crisis, which is now closing down the businesses that can't afford to pay their bills. Bit of a double whammy for our small businesses. I mean, the big chains, they'll be fine, I guess. You know, they'll just make a few sacrifices here and there, normally with their staff. So it's always us that pays in the long run, isn't it? I'm just looking down here very quickly to just... Right, here we go. So here are the main things that a new Tory Prime Minister would be looking to resolve, or the electorate are looking to the Prime Minister to resolve. Obviously the tax and spend I've just mentioned. Energy crisis, you know, scheduled blackouts. That's not a good thing. NHS, of course, well, you know, that's a separate video, isn't it? The way that the NHS is in crisis at the moment. And I've been speaking to nurses pretty much every day. You do get a very realistic, on the wards view of just how bad things are. The Ukraine, immigration, and of course Brexit. And last of all, polls and party unity. Well, this is what I want to get on to. Save the best till last, if you like. It doesn't matter who goes in as Prime Minister. Whether it's Rishi Sunak, which is likely to be the case, or Penny Mordaunt on the outside, or the other chap whose name I can never remember. It's not going to unify the party. Ben Wallace, by the way. It's not going to unify a fractured Ben Wallace. Fractured Ben Wallace. Sorry, chemo brain. Dull. A fractured Tory party. And for the first time in history, looking at it, because the divisions run so deep and for some people insurmountable, it could fracture. A new party could develop from what is the old Tory party. What effect that would have on the existing Tory party, I don't know. This is all just what ifs at the moment. But it's likely, because the differences within the Tory party run so deep, that a new party could in fact develop from the Tory party. Whether it be successful or not is all dependent on who decides to go to the new party. But the Tories, the Conservative Party at the moment, are not a Conservative Party. They seem to be... it's really hard to describe. They seem to be slightly Blairite, if I can say that. And Labour doesn't... I mean, it's hard to fathom where Labour actually are, only because Keir Starmer at times can be so confusing. They're in opposition. Excuse me. So they're going to say oppositional things. You would expect that. Yes, the Conservative Party aren't very conservative. Not sure where Labour are in this. Are they sort of centrist left or centrist right? Are they going to embrace the old Blairite policies? We need a little bit more from Keir Starmer, I think. Liz Truss's last Prime Minister's questions, apparently she seemed to get the upper hand on Keir Starmer, which I've not seen. I've just read the reports, so I don't know for sure. But if that is the case, then Keir Starmer really does need to get some practice in. He needs to stand in front of the mirror and put on a grave but sage-like expression, and then criticise the government, because let's face it, it's very rich in material for criticising them. End of the week, sorry, I digress. End of the week, we're looking at Rishi Sunak. How do we feel about that? Well, for me personally, don't know pretty much anything about the man. I know about the tax scandals that came up. He seems to be just another tarnished Conservative MP, as does Penny Mordaunt. There is some questions about her naval record. Have you seen her advertising campaign that she's released? It is around on the internet. I think if you can bear it and go to her website, it's on there. Obviously, because it's promoting her, it only promotes her. There's nothing in there that's slightly dodgy, but it does miss out on a whole host of things that have been brought up in the media just recently. With her polling so low with Conservative MPs, I don't think she's a serious contender. However, you can't write off this party because they're doing some crazy things at the moment. Absolutely crazy things. So much so we're the laughingstock of the world. Our political system is just in tatters. Our reputation on the world stage is similarly in tatters. Right now, we are our little isolated island, and we are on our own. And the people who are supposed to be in charge and represent us have not been doing a good job for 12 years. They're not likely to change that habit. I mentioned yesterday that it doesn't matter which MP wins the leadership contest to become Prime Minister. It doesn't matter who wins, we lose. that's Conservative Party policy. I don't see it changing. I don't see a compassionate Tory in the party. Maybe there are on the backbenches, but they're certainly never going to get near a sniff of the power that is going to be needed to make the necessary changes. So is it a prediction? Not really. It's not. You don't need to predict. You can just go and pick up any one of the tabloids, red tops, from your newsagent this morning, and it's going to pretty much confirm what I'm saying, that by the end of the week we will looking at Rishi Sunak being Prime Minister, unless something monumentally crazy happens. But don't rule it out. Just don't rule it out, because, well, last 6 weeks, just take a look. Absolute chaos. All right. That's my analysis so far. I don't think there's anything further to add to it. But if you have an opinion or a comment, then please do. If you're motivated to do so, put a comment down in the comment section below. I read them all, and I try to answer them all where appropriate. One last thing. Let me put on my serious but wizened face. Just because somebody expresses a political opinion does not mean that they're mad or insane, or you can call into question the circumstances surrounding their birth. Okay? There's a lot of hate in this country. We don't need to perpetrate it just for the hell of it on YouTube. I publish all the comments, even the ones that are derogatory. I find them quite amusing, to be honest, but there we go. But I'm just saying it in general. You know, just people have different opinions. It's the way of the world. You don't deride them or make derogatory statements simply because they have a difference of opinion. And it doesn't matter how weird, fascinating or wrong that opinion might be. It's their opinion, they're entitled to it, and they're entitled to express it without fear of being attacked. I was going to do a whole video about this, but I think we can sum it up just nicely in the 2 minutes. I've just overrun my own threshold of saying I was going to stick to 10 in this video. Verbal diarrhea. Well, that's it for Sunday. Have a good weekend, what's left of it, and obviously best wishes for next week. Stay safe, and thank you for watching.